So we are going to look at the citation guide that is through the library here at UNCG. As mentioned before, the point of this instructional session is not to memorize every style and every facet that may be helpful to answer any questions that students, faculty, or staff may have. The point of this session is to get a little more familiar with each style, but also to get more familiar with how to find answers, where to point students to, and just have a better resource. So if you go to the library homepage, library.uncg.edu, in my opinion, this is kind of hard to find. A lot of students don't know this, but the best way that I found to access it is if you select the Research Guides by Subject tab right here on the red search bar, you'll see this very recognizable page where all of the subject guides are listed. But if you select down here at the bottom, Additional Research and Resources Guides, you'll see a section at the very top, Citing Sources and Citation Management. And the first link here is the citation guides. So if you click on that, you'll be brought to this home page for this LibGuide that has been created, expanded, and worked on by many librarians. And it has a lot of information about a lot of different styles. And each tab follows a very similar format, which is helpful when you're trying to explore different styles that you may not be super familiar with. Usually when a librarian is available for chat services, to the left under the Ask Us, there'll be a chat box. This can be helpful to point students towards, but since they're offline right now, that option is not available. But it's still good to know that it's there. So let's just look at the APA tab just for an example. So at the top here, there's a little information about the 7th edition of APA format, which not everyone has switched to. But besides that, in each section, in each tab, you'll find an introduction section, which has some information about the specific style. An important thing to mention that the APA tab says right off the bat is that there are style manuals at the reference desk as well if you're more comfortable with physical material, and that could be helpful for some students, but there's this resource online as well. So when you scroll down, you'll see a table of contents often, and then you'll also see each type of source broken down, and there's lots of great examples. For journal articles, that's a really common question, with multiple authors, as well as books, interviews, the list goes on. And there's great examples for all of those. And at the bottom here, you'll also see more information. So if an example here doesn't quite meet what the student's looking for, it doesn't answer the question, there's often a lot of resources that are listed. So like OWL at Purdue is something that, we refer to a lot, as well as Citation Fox. Citation Fox gets really specific about a lot of citation questions that I would not know the answer to otherwise. And so these are all great things to access. As well, up at the top, you'll also see links to access the actual APA style manual. Like I said, we do have a physical copy behind the desk, but through the citation guide, you'll be able to find a link to a online copy as well. And so MLA follows that same format. You have the introduction, then you have examples for different sorts of sources that may need to be cited, and then additional resources at the bottom. So kind of knowing this general format, you can quickly find what you need in each section. So we're going to be looking at some less commonly used styles, which is a lot of these guys down here. ASA is one we're going to touch on, and this citation guide gives a lot of great examples for in-text citations, as well as a lot of examples for reference lists. So for example, like I said, with APA, we get a lot of questions about journal articles. There's information here about journal articles and examples, as well as at the bottom, once again, some additional links for more in-depth information. And at the top, you'll see the style guide as well. So the APSR, this is actually what I got the question on. Here you'll see the style manual for political science. I think I read this whole thing that night. Once again, you'll see the introduction, and then you'll see the quick guide with a lot of great examples as well. Journal articles, like I mentioned. And then you'll have that quick guide as well. And then AMA is another one that we're going to touch on a little bit. Once again, you get that introduction, you get the online style manual if you would like, or it says where the reference manual is behind the desk, and you'll get all those examples as well. So journal article, here's electronic, here's print, etc. So knowing where this is key, knowing how to access this is key, and knowing how to flip through it is key. It's not expected to know all the information off of this whole guide. There's a lot on here, but I think it's important to at least read through everything and get comfortable with formats. So when you do have questions pop up, oh, I need to go to, CSE, we'll go to, articles from print journal. How do we format that?